Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm just going to give it about 10-15 seconds for everyone to join the room. Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. Looks like everyone's here. My name is Laura Miller. I'm the Director of Client Engagement. With me is my colleague, Sarah.
Hi, I'm Sarah Bailey. I'm a Client Engagement Specialist with Peregrine.
I am going to turn off my camera because I'm not going to be looking at you. So I'm turn that off for now. And we will go ahead and get started here.
As you may know, Peregrine provides normed summative assessments that address institutional and programmatic accreditation requirements. The assessments are online and do not require a proctor. They're also customizable, meaning you will only include the topics on your exam that align with your learning outcomes. The assessments allow you to measure your learning outcomes objectively and then use that data to identify gaps and improve the quality of the education you are providing students. Programmatic assessments are available across disciplines, including accounting and finance, business administration, criminal justice, early childhood education, global business education for outside the US, and healthcare administration, public administration, and general education. The first step is to evaluate your students by administering the exam. The next step is to review your students' results using a wide array of available Peregrine reports. Our 23 different reports will enable you to conduct external benchmarking, identify program strengths and weaknesses, measure learner growth over time, compare groups of learners, conduct longitudinal analysis, identify potential learning gaps, and determine why learners answer questions incorrectly. Peregrine is well known for our extensive detailed reporting capabilities available to our clients. However, over the past 12 years, a common challenge experienced by our clients is this. How do we explain to students the purpose of this nationally normed exam? How does it benefit students, and why should they take the exam seriously? To address this challenge, Peregrine is excited to announce the launch of our major service enhancement for your students, a revised learner certificate of completion and a new learner assessment report. Both items are value-added resources available for download to you and your learners upon completion of a knowledge-based assessment. The revised learner certificate of completion features a contemporary style that is designed to be displayed as a symbol of achievement. The certificate is also used by schools as a method of academic accountability. Typically, institutions will have learners submit the certificate within a course as evidence of exam completion. Depending on the exam settings you choose, the learner assessment report will also be available for download. The learner assessment report provides learners with detailed insights into their assessment data as a means for raising awareness, providing learners with a tool for their professional portfolios, and communicating the value of their academic program. Now, Laura will walk us through the new report in detail.
The cover page provides learners with information, much like our reports for school officials. It includes the exam name, exam type, the date, the learner's name, the school name, and the comparison data pool. With this new learner assessment report, schools will be able to decide which comparative data pool they want to use. The default is located in the US. but they'll be able to choose something different if they choose to. Importantly, the report illustrates the why of the exam. It helps the student understand their individual scores, how they rank compared with a sample of other learners' scores, their knowledge strengths and potential knowledge gaps as it relates to the topic areas covered by the exam, and the types of errors they made the most. It explains how, by completing the assessment to the best of their ability, they are not only more informed about their own learning, but also provide their school with the data they need to impact the quality of education. They have taken part in a process that will add value to their educational experience, their degree, and help future learners who follow their path. A flashlight versus a hammer. The data collected in the report shines a light on the areas where the student learned the most, as well as those areas where they did not. It is not a blunt instrument to punish perceived failure. Their participation allows their academic program to expand on the bright spots and take corrective measures where needed. Finally, an explanation is provided of the purpose and differences between inbound, midpoint, and outbound exams. On the How to Use Your Assessment report page, learners are given an overview of each section of the report and how to understand the data they are seeing. A glossary of terms is also provided to define unfamiliar terms, such as comparison or sample data pool, or sample, percentage score, percentile rank, percentage change. We recognize that while these terms are familiar to us, they're not familiar to everyone. The Your Scores section helps the learner interpret their total score and percentile rank. When a learner has completed an inbound or midpoint exam, as well as an outbound exam, a comparison is provided that demonstrates their growth in learning from beginning to end of their academic program. The Explanation of Scores section provides a graph and chart to help the learner understand how their scores relate to the average scores achieved on the exam. The dashed line indicates their inbound score. The dotted line indicates their midpoint score, if there is one, and the solid line indicates their outbound score. The exam topics section provides additional details on scores and percentile rank at the topic level. This table of data is more relevant than the total exam score because it is specific to each topic area. Since different schools select different topics for their exam, not all learners in the sample data pool received the same exam. Therefore, it's important to make comparisons with all learners in the same sample data pool who did receive the same topic. The table provides the number of responses answered correctly out of the number of questions offered. For example, 8 out of 10, the topic score, percentile rank, and the sample size of the pool. Tips to understand the exam topics table is also provided. An illustration of topic results by rank from highest to lowest informs the learner of the areas where they have the most knowledge, as well as areas with knowledge gaps. The topic data includes score, percentile rank, and the average score of all learners in the sample data pool who received the same topic. When the learner has also completed an inbound as well as an outbound exam, percentage change is shown to demonstrate their growth in learning. In the Learning Opportunities section, the learner receives a response distractor report. The report helps the learner understand the reason they may have answered the question incorrectly. Based on the answer given, the error may have been calculation-based, concept-based, conclusion-based, fact-based, or interpretation-based. By having this information, a learner can recognize implied skills that need further development. For example, if a learner made a high number of calculation-based errors, they may consider reviewing the formulas and equations needed to solve problems in that topic area. The exam subject section provides a view of how the learner performed at the subject level. Each subject is represented by a bar within a topic-specific graph. A learner will also see their score and percentile rank in the topic, and then can relate that back to performance in each subject. Now that the learner understands their scores and percentile rank and have identified strengths and learning opportunities, what's next? If the assessment report was for an inbound exam, they know their starting point. They can expect to improve in all topic areas as they progress through their academic program. Areas where knowledge gaps were identified are those where additional study may be needed. If the assessment report was for a midpoint exam, they will be able to directly measure growth and learning since taking the inbound exam and identify areas for improvement and additional focus during the second half of their academic program. If the assessment report was for an outbound exam, they have a report that demonstrates what they know at the conclusion of their academic program. This report can be used as a part of a portfolio for prospective employers as part of their academic record for future degree plans in higher education and as a guide for professional development.
Peregrine is excited to announce that the new Certificate of Completion and Learner Assessment Report will be live for client institutions and their students to access on March 14th, 2022. Does anyone have any questions? If so, please type them into the chat now, and Lara and I will do our best to answer them.
So while we're waiting for folks to chat in any questions, I just wanted to mention that if you are currently using an inbound assessment, in the past, by default, we did not show scores of students on an inbound assessment. However, now with this new report, we are encouraging schools to change that setting on their exams. And we'll be sending out communication about that later this week. But we do want to hear from you in that regard if you're using the inbound assessment at this time.
Lara, we have a few questions. So the first question is, if students took the Peregrine Learning Assessment in an undergraduate capstone course, then took another as an outbound assessment, can the scores be shown on one report for the student?
Can you repeat that? Sorry.
No, it's okay. Okay, if students took the Peregrine Learning Assessment in an undergraduate capstone course, then took another as an outbound assessment, can the scores be shown on one report for the students?
Anytime that's within a single degree program, so if they take an inbound assessment and an outbound assessment in the same academic degree level, then both of those will show up on the learner assessment report. And it will show, it'll show up automatically.
Then another question is, what's the report's fee?
There is no fee. This is a value added for our clients and the students.
And then how can students access the practice exam?
We don't have a practice exam. We have exams available on our website for student purchase, which they could use as a practice exam if they wanted to go on there and purchase one. However, it's not going to be exactly like your institution's exam because you've customized yours. You have specific topics. And also those exams on our website do not have, the same number of questions.
And then we've already ordered new outbound tests for being carried out in March 2022. Will this report be available for the participating students then?
This report is going live on March 14th, and it will be retroactive to all exams that have already been taken and that will be taken in the future. So even if you have students taking the exam today, once this report goes live, they'll be able to access that report.
See, we have one. Oh, we've already answered that one. So, do faculty get access to the report?
Yes, the report will be right next to the place in client admin where you can download the student's completion certificate. So now, in addition to being able to download their certificate, you'll be able to also download the report if it's available. So the only time it won't be available is if for an inbound assessment, you have scores turned off. Their score doesn't show on the certificate page, but it does show in the report.
And then we have this one. So if I understand correctly, if a student completes an associate, then a BSBA, then an MBA, and took Peregrine assessments in each capstone, the results cannot be connected.
You would have to run the learner assessment report separately for the associates and the bachelor's and then the master's programs, and then you could compare them.
I think that's all we have for now.
And so I see one question in here I just wanted to clarify. So if you only have an outbound exam, then they can download the report and it's just going to have the outbound information. So you don't have to have all three. You don't have to have an inbound, a midpoint, and an outbound. They're still going to be able to get the report regardless, as long as scoring is turned on for your exams.
I found a few more questions as well in the chat. So, are inbound assessments required for the learner assessment report?
No, they're not required.
Then Amy says, I apologize, I was a few minutes late. Did you say you have to activate this? We have an outbound assessment for our students.
It will go live for all clients on March 14th, so you don't have to activate it. The only thing that we're asking schools to do is if you do have an inbound assessment and you're not showing the scores, that maybe you want to turn that on now so that they can see the learner assessment report and be able to download that. And we'll be sending out communication here in a couple of days about that. And if you're not sure whether or not you're showing the score on your inbound exams, you can just get in contact with us and we'll let you know what you've got currently and we can make any adjustments.
Then what about course level assessments? So I'm guessing, is this available for course level assessments is the question?
Well, it will be, but it's only going to have, the specific topic that you're using for that particular course level assessment.
Is the learner assessment report available for students no matter how many Peregrine exams they've taken, 1, 2, or 3?
Yes.
We would like to run a general business outbound assessment. Which service would be most appropriate and how much does it cost per student?
The business administration assessment service would be most appropriate for a business program exam. The cost depends on your volume of usage annually. So if you want to, we'll have our contact information on the next slide. If you want to reach out to us, we can talk about what kind of numbers you're planning and let you know what that cost would be. Our base price for an exam is $45 per student.
And it has been a while since I chose the questions for our exam. Please review again outbound versus inbound.
So an inbound assessment is generally administered when the students first begin a program, sometimes as an admission requirement, or as in an introductory course where all students have to take that introductory course. And it just gives the school a baseline of what the student's knowledge is coming into the program. And then the outbound exam mirrors the inbound exactly, topic-wise, so that you have an apples to apples comparison. And it's administered to the students right before they graduate, usually in a capstone course. And with that data, institutions can run our pairwise report and they can see, the growth and learning of all the students as a group and individually. And now with this learner assessment report, that information is available to the individual student to see how they've improved in each topic area.
I think that is all of our questions.
Great. I'm going to go ahead and click to the contact us slide. So as I mentioned a couple of times, we'll be sending out an email with a demo of this report attached and with the questions we need answered as far as showing the score on the inbound assessment and also which data pool you want the students to compare themselves against. The default is located in the US, but you can choose now if you want to. We're always available to answer any questions. You can reach out to us at this info@peregrineglobal.com. Also, many of you who are clients have our client services at peregrineglobal.com email address. Feel free to reach out to us. We can set up a meeting to talk over any additional questions that you have. And the email that's going out in a couple of days will have a meeting link in there where you can easily schedule a meeting with us as well. But thank you everyone for joining us today. We're really excited about this learner assessment report. We think it's going to be great for the students and also can be useful for you guys as well, but it definitely helps students to understand how this exam can benefit them as well, not just the institution. So yeah, what?
Oh, I just was going to say we have one more question.
Okay.
Is it possible to compare the results with different regions or only with the single chosen one?
It will just be the single chosen one. But your reports, the institution level reports, you're able to compare with additional benchmarks, just not at the individual student level.
Okay. I think that is all of the questions, and thank you to everyone for your participation and all of your questions. Please let us know if you have any more or you wanted to reach out to us by email.
Yep. Yeah, so y'all have a really great day. Let us know if we can help you with anything.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.